Are you ready for this? Imagine a man, a regular guy. Now, imagine him willingly, intentionally letting some of the world's most dangerous snakes bite him. Not just once, not just twice, but hundreds of times over 2 decades. This isn't a scene from a blockbuster movie. This is the real-life story of Tim Frieda. He stared death in the face again and again, all for a single, powerful purpose. He believed his immunity could one day save countless lives. But stick with me. What happened next could change medicine forever. Most people run from a black mamba. They flee from a taipan. The very sight of a cobra sends shivers down their spine, and for good reason. So who is this guy? Tim Frieda isn't a formally trained scientist or a doctor. He's a truck mechanic from Wisconsin. A regular guy with an extraordinary, and some would say reckless, passion. His fascination with snakes started when he was a kid. It grew into something much more intense. He wasn't just keeping them as pets, he was obsessed with their venom. He read everything he could find about immunology. The idea consumed him and set him on a path no one else dared to walk. His motivation wasn't fame or adrenaline, it was frustration. Every year, millions are bitten by venomous snakes, mostly in poor, rural communities in Africa, Asia, and Latin America. Tens of thousands die. Hundreds of thousands suffer permanent disabilities. Existing antivenoms are specific, expensive, and require refrigeration. He decided his own body would be the testing ground. He dedicated his home, his finances, his physical well-being. How do you even begin to make yourself immune to something that can kill you in under an hour? You start small. Very, very small. Tim's journey didn't begin with a full fangs-deep bite from a king cobra. It started with a process called self-immunization, using carefully measured, diluted amounts of venom. He would inject himself with tiny microdoses of a specific snake's venom. This was a calculated risk. The goal was to introduce just enough of the venom's proteins, or antigens, to trigger his immune system without killing him. His body would then, in theory, start producing antibodies specifically designed to fight that particular toxin. Over time, he would gradually increase the dosage and the potency of the venom he injected. It was a painstaking and incredibly dangerous process of building tolerance. Imagine knowingly injecting yourself with a substance that's designed by nature to cause paralysis, organ failure, and necrosis. Each injection was a roll of the dice. Too much, and it could be fatal. Too little, and he wouldn't build the immunity he needed. He had to listen to his body with an almost supernatural focus, monitoring every reaction. After years of these micro-injections, Tim felt his body was ready for the next, terrifying step, direct bites. He started with less potent snakes and methodically worked up to the world's deadliest. Tim's pursuit of immunity was anything but painless. It was a journey paved with agony and near-death experiences. Let's be clear, snake venom is designed to inflict damage. It's a complex chemical weapon. Neurotoxic, they attack the nervous system, causing paralysis and respiratory failure. Hemotoxic, they destroy blood cells and tissues, causing massive internal bleeding. Cytotoxic, like cobra venom, it causes necrosis, the death of living tissue. Time experienced all of it. Every bite was a fresh wave of torture, a physical and psychological ordeal. He describes the pain as indescribable, like being hit with a flaming baseball bat covered in hornets. His limbs would swell grotesquely, skin turning black and blue as venom ate the tissue from the inside out. On at least 2 occasions, he came terrifyingly close to death. One brutal cobra bite sent him into anaphylactic shock. He spent days in a coma. Doctors told his family he wasn't going to make it, but somehow he pulled through. The physical toll was immense. The psychological strain was just as heavy. After the coma, he went right back to it. This wasn't ego, it was data. For years, Tim's work was on the fringe, dismissed by many as reckless pseudoscience. But then, his story reached a team at a biotechnology company called Centivax, led by Dr. Jacob Glanville. They saw something extraordinary in his blood, a treasure trove of powerful, diverse antibodies. Traditional antivenom uses animals like horses. Tim's body had become a unique human bioreactor. They took samples and began to analyze the antibodies he had produced. Some of these antibodies were incredibly potent. Even more exciting, some appeared cross-reactive. An antibody developed to a cobra might also neutralize a mamba or a crate. This was the key, the scientific breakthrough Tim had been risking his life for. They isolated the most powerful antibodies. They sequenced them to use as a blueprint and created synthetic versions in the lab. They could produce these proteins on demand, combine several into a single cocktail. The idea, one shot that could neutralize many snake venoms around the world. This is the holy grail of snakebite treatment. Instead of knowing exactly what bit you, a paramedic could administer one universal shot that buys precious time. Tim's blood provided the map to guide scientists toward this revolutionary medicine. The madness, it turned out, had a brilliant method. The real test of this new antibody cocktail wasn't just going to be in a petri dish. It had to work in a living organism. So, the scientists turned to mice. They injected mice with a lethal dose of black mamba venom. Without treatment, the venom would shut down the nervous system and the mice would die. Then came the moment of truth. A short time after venom, scientists delivered the antivenom cocktail. The results were nothing short of miraculous. The mice that received the antivenom survived, all of them. The lab-grown antibodies swarmed through their bodies, found venom toxins, and neutralized them. The control group, which received placebo, perished. This proved the antibodies derived from Tim's immunity were a potent medical tool. Centivac's expanded tests, effective against crates, cobras, and other deadly venoms. Their goal, a single product to work against the Big Four in India and dangerous snakes in sub-Saharan Africa. Success in mice is the first crucial piece of evidence. What's next? Larger animals, likely dogs, then human trials, years and millions of dollars ahead. To understand why Tim Frieda's work is so important, you have to understand the scale of the crisis. This is not a small problem. Up to 5.4 million people are bitten each year. As many as 138,000 people die, and up to 400,000 suffer permanent disabilities. Amputations, chronic pain, ruined livelihoods. This is a crisis of poverty and geography. Farmers in India, children in sub-Saharan Africa, fishermen in Southeast Asia. Clinics often lack the right antivenom, or any antivenom at all. The current system is over 100 years old, expensive, specific, and hard to standardize. Clinics would need to stock many vials, impractical in remote areas. This is why a universal antivenom is revolutionary. Imagine a single, affordable, heat-stable vial a health worker could carry. Add water, shake, and give a life-saving shot in the field. Faster treatment, the most important factor in survival. It would save tens of thousands of lives and prevent hundreds of thousands of injuries, lifting fear from communities. This isn't just medical, it's global health equity. Provide a solution for those neglected for far too long. It would lift a burden of fear from entire communities. So, what do we make of Tim Frieda? Is he a reckless madman or a visionary hero? The truth, like venom itself, is complex. His methods were extreme and would never be approved by ethical review boards. He put his life and his family at risk. The mainstream scientific community watched with horror and fascination. He was the ultimate outlier. Obsession drove him to the fringes of science. But you cannot argue with the results. His radical experiment produced a library of antibodies, a unique biological treasure, a roadmap to neutralizing the world's deadliest toxins. He endured pain, near-death experiences, and social isolation. No lab could have replicated that. He used the only tool he had, his own body. He accelerated discovery with a massive personal shortcut, giving Centivax the biological source code to develop a safe, scalable solution. Scalable, ethical, and potentially revolutionary. His legacy won't be his methods, but the medical revolution they may have sparked. His pain may one day translate into the survival of countless others. The journey is far from over, but the future of antivenom looks brighter than ever. Thanks to Tim Frieda's sacrifice and the brilliant science that followed, the successful tests in mice were a monumental first step. Next, refining the antibody cocktail, ensuring safety, preparing for human trials. It will require years, funding, and international collaboration, but the path is clear. A key goal, a powdered, Heat-stable antivenom with no refrigeration required. A medic could add sterile water, shake, and give a life-saving shot in the field. Lessons from Tim's journey go beyond snakebite, scorpion stings, spider bites, rapid response treatments. Antibody tech could apply to many fields, unlocking the power of the human immune system. A Wisconsin truck mechanic gambled his life for 2 decades to make a difference. Now his gamble is beginning to pay off. We're on the cusp of a new era in toxicology. A day may come when a black mamba or a king cobra bite is not a death sentence, but a treatable injury. And it will be thanks to the Wisconsin truck mechanic who was brave or crazy enough to let the snakes bite. Have you encountered any snake or seen anyone bitten by snake? Write in comment. If you found this story powerful, subscribe for more science stories.